Hello and welcome back to Just One More Thing. This is our first episode of 2018.
So this is season 2.
Yeah, let's call it season 2.
Yeah, because a season is a year.
Well, we just kind of do them continuously. But yeah, Happy New Year, and I hope you had a great holiday season. We were kind of in and out and not very regular with our podcasting in 2018.
Yeah.
But maybe we can, now that the kids are back to school and now that we kind of have our own regular routine going again, we can get back to that. So, welcome back. Happy New Year, and let's get started with some... Do we have any finished objects? I don't think I do. You do. You have lots of finished earrings. Yeah. So I'll let you start.
Where are your J earrings? I can show those.
They're in the bathroom. Go get them and I'll put them on.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Okay. So, a couple of days ago, I've been doing lots of earring making.
You spent a lot of your Christmas break making earrings.
Yeah, I was getting situated. So, I was making some more studs. With my Christmas money, I got glitter beads. I put them on, glued them on post backs, and I also bought backs too. And then they are purple bees. I made my mom some J earrings, which are teal, and she likes them a lot.
So they're just cute little beads that have initials on them, and they make cute little stud, you play kind of playful stud earrings. So she made a lot of those. She made my mom a pair, she made me a pair, I think she made a couple of her friends a pair. Here, you want me to get them untangled for you?
I got them.
I'll hold them up for you. And then she also got a kit for Christmas.
That showed me how to make like a little hoop as a back earring.
Fish hook.
Fish hook on here. And then these ones are blue and pinkish. And then those are like pink pearls. And then, as you might see me wearing, I made some birthday hoops.
You don't have to take them off, honey. They can see them.
And they have purple. They have like the purple bees again.
The purple letter B. Yep. Very cute. What are some of the dangly ones that you made?
I've been making these black and white ones. I'm not sure if I'll wear them. Maybe if I'm wearing black. These ones are my school's color, purple and white.
Cute.
And then I have these like stone beads. And so I made earrings with these.
I like those.
I've been drawing.
Here, let's do this. Over Christmas. Tell me about this that you got for Christmas.
When I unwrapped this present, it is a 600-page, very big drawing book, or a sketchbook.
My sister got this for Christmas. And talk about this picture.
My dad challenged me to draw Emerson's toy Zep truck. So, I drew it, and he's like, wow, you're a good drawer. I was like, yeah, thanks.
He liked how she kind of made it look like it was driving onto the page. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting a good shot of it?
Yeah.
There we go. So hopefully that'll take her a while to fill up.
And then
600 pages. Should take a while, right?
yeah. And then I made a collar for my robot cat that Santa got me. It's like a cute little collar. It has a star charm. I also got for my Christmas money.
Very cute.
It like dangles. See?
Yep.
And it
very
looks
cute.
great on her.
Alrighty. So that's all you've been working on?
Yep. And I should have got started today, but I will knit my cat a sweater.
A sweater for the cat. Yay.
Well, crochet or
A crochet
knit.
one?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, speaking of crochet, I don't have any finished objects, but I have been working on quite a few. So my granny stripe blanket is coming along. I think the last time it made an appearance, I had maybe finished kind of like this green section here. So I've added all of that.
Hey, that's the camo stuff. That's the camo you knit for my scarf.
Yeah. Yep.
She dyed like camo.
No, it was
camo?
bought. It was store-bought yarn, pink camo yarn.
So she knit me a pink camo scarf.
A long time ago, I knit her
Yeah.
a pink camo scarf. But yeah, so I made quite a few stripes into the blanket. I came across, let me see if I can find it. Yep. This stripe right here. I really wanted to put it into the blanket, but it was chunky. It was kind of a chunkier worsted weight yarn, and everything else that I've put in here has been fingering. But I was watching Brooklyn Knit Folk, Jacqueline, I think that's her name, on Brooklyn Knit Folk, was talking about her granny stripe blanket, blah, 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 blah. Her granny stripe blanket, and how she didn't really worry about the weight of the yarn that she was putting into it, and that if every once in a while she came across a chunkier yarn, she just did 2 double crochets into the cluster instead of the normal 3. And you know, that it can kind of make that part stick out a little bit more, but then, you know, when you look at the whole blanket, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, you can't really see it. So I gave it a try, and I'm really happy with the result. I just put the 2 in, so it still takes up the same amount of space. And then on the next row, I held this one, which was very, like, a thinner lace weight. I held it double, so it kind of blends really nicely. And then by the time I got back to the fingering, you couldn't tell at all. So I'm real happy with that. This one is not quite lap blanket size yet, but we're getting there. It'll be a very long-term project. No deadline for this in sight.
They'll probably finish it in 2019 or sometime this year, right?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep working on it forever until it grows, grows, and grows. I don't know. All right, so I also did a few New Year's Day cast-ons. I'm participating in a couple of knit-alongs. The first one is a spoiler. So, if you watch Cozy Up with the Knittin' Sisters, if you are participating in their My Sister Shawl knit-along, look away. Fast forward a little bit. I'm going to show you clue 1 of that project. So this is a shawl, a mystery shawl, with a unique shape apparently. I don't know what they haven't said what the shape is going to be, other than I don't think it's going to be triangular or rectangle. Not quite sure what it will end up being. But clue 1 was very interesting. It has lots of kind of mysteries to puzzle out. It started with a provisional cast on. So I've got all of my live stitches. They had you do it on 2 circular needles. I didn't have very long cables, and my cables I found them to be really cumbersome and getting in my way. So I put mine on waste yarn to hold my live stitches until they're needed. And then I just pinned the tail with one of those little like safety pin stitch markers. Anyway, a little tip to keep things manageable. It's a 3-color shawl. And, the pattern called for using 2 solids and a complementary speckled yarn. So like solid, speckle, solid. I decided I was going to dye my own yarn for this because I didn't have anything in my stash. In December, Knit Picks was having sorry, I've got a little boy running. Okay. So Knit Picks was having a sale on all of their bare yarn. And basically, I stocked up on a bunch of bare yarn that I could dye myself for projects that I want to do in 2018. Because that was more affordable for my yarn budget than buying from the indie dyers that I really, really love. I do have some indie yarn on the way to me, thanks to some Christmas money. But for the most part, I really stocked up on bare yarn so that I could dye my own. It's fun. I like dyeing yarn for myself. It's just one of those, in my mind, I'm saving myself a little bit of money. So anyway, these were the 3 yarns that I dyed. My blue was meant to be the speckle, but then when I took it out, it all kind of came out tonal. So you can see there's some really dark blues in there and some really light. So it's kind of speckled, but it's really more tonal. So I decided to use this one, as my actual speckle. It has lots of browns and grays in it. So it's kind of all my favorite neutrals. And this one was I kettle dyed. And it was supposed to be more of a mustard yellow, but it came out very goldenrod, I think. I really kind of wish, and I still kind of think maybe I might go back. I don't know, maybe not. I'm waiting to see how the whole thing knits up, and maybe it'll mute out a little when it's all together and being worn. But I kind of wish I had maybe put, like over dyed this with a really, really like crazy light brown, or maybe speckled it just a little bit. Well, I don't know. I wish it was a little more tonal, because I like how, and it's hard to see, but I like how the tonal knits up. I think it looks better. I don't know. And I really like the speckled. I just feel like that bright yellow maybe doesn't, I don't know.
I think it looks good.
You do? You like it? I think this is the right side that I don't know. We'll see how it knits up in the end. We'll see what happens. If I've decided that if in the end I think the gold is just way too much, like if it just kind of overpowers the project, I can always kind of like go back in and just like spot, like almost maybe like with tea leaves or something, kind of just smudge out and kind of tone down the yellow parts a little bit. I don't know. Everyone says they really like it when I show pictures of it. And everyone says, oh, it looks great. But I don't know. To me, that yellow is just really yellow. And I was going for more of a muted color palette. But the pattern is really fun. I got so excited about changing colors here that I had completely forgot to do this section of the mesh. And so I posted pictures. I was like, woohoo, I'm done. And a couple of very kind people very, very kindly pointed out I think you forgot a section. There's supposed to be more mesh after the broken seed stitch. And sure enough, I went back and looked at the pattern and I was like, "Ugh." So I had to rip out, like I had it done in a day. I had it done, I almost had it done New Year's Eve. But I had finished it up like the morning on January 1st. But then I had to go back and I had to rip out from here to here. I had to rip all of that out and re-add in this mesh section. It did not take long. I still had it done like within, and it took like less than a day for me to knit it up. And the next clue comes out tonight, early tomorrow morning for some people. So next week we'll see what clue 2 brings.
Why did you tell people to speed away from this part?
Well, because it's a mystery, and if people are knitting it and they haven't gotten as far as I have, and they don't want to be spoiled, they don't want to know what they don't want to know what clue 1 looks like. If they want to be surprised by it, then they didn't want to watch that part. So we say spoiler alert, and we tell them to fast forward so that they don't get, if they want to be surprised. Don't you sometimes want to be surprised by things?
Yeah.
So.
Especially those presents I'm actually wondering about.
They're mine. They're totally mine.
We'll see about that.
Someone has a birthday coming up on Tuesday, and there's some presents wrapped on the floor down here by my feet, and the kids have both asked several times who those presents are for, and I honestly told them that because my birthday is coming up also in 2 weeks, on the 23rd, hers is the 9th, mine's the 23rd, that I wrapped my own presents, and they're for me.
Are you sure that's honestly?
Very honestly, I wrapped my own presents.
All
and
the
they're
time.
for me.
All the time you've been giggling and smiling. That makes me think they're mine.
No, they're for me. They're totally for me. My presents. How do you know that I even got you presents for your birthday?
Well, every year you do.
Maybe I hid them at Grandma's. Maybe your presents are at Grandma's and my presents are here because I won't look at my presents.
Are you sure?
Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. They're totally mine. Alrighty. So on to the next knit along. This one is not a secret. It's the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mary. This one, she came out with it. It was before Thanksgiving. It was quite a while, a couple months ago. She came out with this pattern and kind of announced that she would do a knit along in January. So I held off casting on until the knit along started. This is my swatch, my gauge swatch. I did not get gauge. So I'm having to do some fudging on the numbers. My average is super close, like within 1/4 of an inch difference. So it's not a huge difference, but I did have trouble getting gauge with my yarn and my needles. Which is why, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this trick. When you do a gauge swatch and you cast on, can you see those holes?
Yeah.
So here you can see 6 holes. That's my size US 6 swatch right here above those holes. And then I switched to a size 5, and that's my size 5 gauge. And then up here's the 4, and there's my 4 gauge. So she wanted you to use a size 6 needle. I had to go down to a size 4 to get even remotely close to her gauge. Either she's a very, very tight knitter and I'm a very loose knitter, or I don't know. It could be the yarn. It's a superwash yarn, and so it grows a lot after you block it, and that might be a big part of it too. I did not measure gauge before I washed. So my plan is, since this is super, super, like I said, within 1/4 of an, like half a stitch order of a difference, I'm not going to wet block this sweater. I'm going to knit it, and I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to spritz it, and then I'll just like very gently push it into the measurements that are required, because I have a feeling that my gauge was probably a whole lot closer down here, and then after I blocked it, it grew. So that's my plan, is to, because it is knitting up pretty tight. I guess I should show you the actual what I've cast on, because I have cast it on. Right now it's on a set. I'm waiting for a set of needles to come that has a longer cable, and because right now it's super bunched up on the needles, and I'm losing stitches. Hold on. Why don't you go entertain your brother and keep him quiet for a little bit while I talk, because it's going to be a long time.
Really?
Or just go tell him to be quiet. Tell him he needs to quiet down.
Tell him to quiet down.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear it. He's getting kind of rowdy. So, here's what I've cast on so far. This is the yoke, and like I said, I'm in the middle of a row, so I am waiting for stitches, or for a bigger needle to come, and it's supposed to get here next week. So I've kind of put this one on hold because it's gotten to be such a pain to, and there I go again, trying to drop stitches. It's just gotten to be a big pain to try and keep everything on the needle. So I'm putting it on hold until then. But you can kind of see it's a reverse stockinette fabric. So I really like how the fading's happening. At the moment, I'm on color 2, but you can see that my skeins of color 2 are quite different. These are actually, they were dyed together, they're both the same colors, but this one ended up with a lot more brown in it than this one did. So, I don't know if you can see, like the browns in this one ended up a lot further apart, where this one has a lot more brown and a lot less of the lighter bits. So I'm alternating skeins with this one. So that's why those two are attached at the same time, which is making for a kind of fun. You can see down here, I used quite, where is it? I used quite a bit more of the light color, whereas up here you can kind of see where I'm striping in the darker. And then my color 1, which was the same that I did my swatch in. Here's color 1. There's another skein of color 1. And then color 3 is going to be this. And then I have a big pop of color in the blue that I'm going to use for color 4. So these are, again, my cheap way of affording speckled hand-dyed yarns for patterns like this, is I stocked up on Knit Picks Bare and I dyed it myself. So it has been a lot of fun. I might actually add in a couple of, it calls for 4 colors, but I think I might add in a couple of others, just kind of safety net colors I might need along the way. The pattern calls for like 3 skeins in each color. I think that was it. For the size that I'm knitting, of 4 colors, and I have 2 skeins of each color right now, with a third of the first color. So I don't know, I might like dye a couple extra skeins and just have them there to kind of fade in, just in case I need extra yarn. But we'll see. Excuse me. We'll see how that goes. So that's the Comfort Fade Cardi. Those are my 2 big projects that I'm working on right now as far as knitting. I also am going to get the outing shawl back out and start working on it some more as well. it kind of, that was the outing and the willow shawl were two that I had gone quite a ways on before Christmas, before like trying to get my mom's cardigan done before Christmas mania set in. And I want to get those back out and finish them. I also still have a dotted raise that's in progress that needs to be finished. And some blankets that are in progress that need to be finished. So you might see some of those as finished objects in the future, but knitting wise, that's kind of what I have on plan. I actually do have another one that's going to get started, another knit along. I got kind of knit along crazy. I was watching the Grocery Girls new season of Off Our Needles is up. Well, it's started to air on YouTube on the Craftsy channel. So it's not the Grocery Girls actual podcast. It's the Grocery Girls on Craftsy doing Off Our Needles. They're doing another knit along this season. And the shawl that they're knitting along is really, really cute. It's a marled shawl with lots of fringe on it. I don't normally do the fringe thing, but this one just looks really, really nice. And it was a 50% off thing. So it was totally in my budget. So as a birthday gift to myself, I decided to order the kit, and I'm really excited. When it gets here, I'll talk more about it. But if you should check it out, just go check out Craftsy channel, and check out the knit along for that. So another work in progress is a new embroidery project. What do you need, bud? Okay. So I have a new embroidery project in my hoop. I have gone a little embroidery crazy ever since starting those kind of like rug, my funky farm animals, the chicken and the sheep that I did. They really got me interested in embroidery, and I've been following a couple people on Instagram that are really inspiring as far as like those are pretty cool embroidery projects. So it's kind of got me, I'm a complete newbie to this craft, okay? So be gentle on me. But yeah, I decided that I wanted to do more of a traditional embroidery project, one that wasn't including like my yarn and funky farm animals and rug hooking and, you know, kind of like the mixed media stuff that I've been working on. So this one's a bit more traditional, and I can't remember, it was somebody, I know it was somebody that I had been following for a while on Instagram, had posted a picture of a project that she did that had the "she's whiskey in a teacup" saying on it. And I know that this is kind of a popular saying. I've seen it on a lot of other things. But every time I come across this saying, I think of my Grandma Dolly. She was pretty much an embodiment of the saying. She was a really tough lady, but she was also very, very ladylike, and she loved collecting teacups, those super dainty china teacups with like the roses painted on them. She loved that stuff. And she also, I mean, she was kind of the one who taught me how to knit and embroider and kind of got me interested in doing all that. So I kind of thought I would do this as an homage to her. The teacup is definitely not a Grandma Dolly teacup. It is one that is a little bit more me, a little bit more modern geometric design type print. But the colors are totally her. She loved that green color. I do too. But when I think of her house growing up, that color comes, that like 70s green color comes to mind. Also, funnily enough, when I was in college, I think all of my sisters and I were over 21 at the time, but we were like just over 21. Like we were just in that legal drinking age. And we were attending my aunt's wedding. And my grandma Dolly looked at us and she said, "Now girls, remember, ladies drink whiskey with water so that they won't get drunk." And it was one of those, what? Grandma's telling me to, what is Grandma telling me to do? Kind of moments that took us all by surprise. And because, like I said, she was very ladylike. And she did enjoy some whiskey now and then. We knew that. But it was just one of those, like, words of advice that we're like, that makes no sense, Grandma. And I think in her mind, she was saying you need to water down your alcohol so that you can, you know, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's not entirely logical. But in her mind, it made total sense that ladies drink whiskey with water. And so, for some reason, again, when I see this, I think of my grandma, because I can totally imagine her drinking watered down whiskey out of a teacup to be ladylike. So even though that's not what the saying means, that story and this saying, it completely reminds me of my grandma Dolly. So I wanted to make this and hang out on my wall kind of as a remembrance of her. It's coming along. I've ran out of this brown color. I was going to do satin stitch down here as well. But now I'm totally debating whether or not I should keep it as just open back stitch and maybe tear out this. The W, from far back, it looks okay. Like hanging up on the wall, I think it might be fine. But if you got really close up to that W is totally wonky.
Really?
Oh, it's totally horrible.
Really?
It is. Look at it. See, it's all jagged and stuff. So I don't know. I'm debating whether or not to go get more and fill in this teacup part, or if I should tear out the satin stitch on the whiskey and make it more look like this.
I think you should keep whiskey.
You think I should keep it like that?
Yeah.
With the satin stitch all colored in?
Yeah.
Should I do that with teacup?
Maybe.
Should I make teacup look like whiskey, or should I make whiskey look like teacup?
Teacup look like whiskey.
Okay. Which, again, is like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go in on the white. I'm going to take some of this blue, like maybe just a few strands of the blue, and kind of shade in on the steam to give it more of a tonal look. Because, like, again, when you have it way back, it's kind of hard to see that steam coming up out of the cup. So I don't know. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I'm going to put some more seed stitch down in here to kind of color in that as well. Because I think it looks a little bare. Yeah, I have room. On the front. It doesn't matter what the back looks like. The back looks... But yeah, so I'm going to put in a bit more seed stitch in the cup to kind of fill that in just a little bit more. And it is almost done. I started this Friday, maybe?
Maybe.
And so yeah, it really hasn't, the part that took the longest was that word. It took absolutely forever. I'd been working on that for almost a day. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. I think I'm going to leave it framed in the hoop, and I might take this top part off and paint the top part of the hoop, but I think I'll just hang it on the wall in the hoop like that.
Yeah, because that's what you normally do, and then you run out of hoops.
It's easier to frame them in a hoop than to go buy another frame. I have to frame it in something. I might as well just frame it in the hoop. I kind of like the look of stuff left in the hoop. Anyway, so those are my works in progress that I have been working on.
I have one more drawing for you all.
Oh, Brooklyn has been working on a drawing while I've been talking. See, the more I talk, the more she gets to show with drawings.
This is my cat with her new sweater on, but I have not started that yet.
Oh, that's the sweater design. I like it.
Yeah, it's going to come around her neck, and then it's going to kind of lay off. Like, lay on her back a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's easier not to, it's kind of easy not to, like, make armholes or something.
Yeah, just
and then that way it doesn't cover the sensors.
To be a tube up around her middle and then kind of like around her neck to hold it on. I like it.
Yeah.
Very good job. Okay, so I have, before we go, one quick recommendation. Craftsy.com, which is the site where you can like buy classes that teach you how to do things like sewing and cooking and photography and embroidery and all of that. They've come out with Craftsy Unlimited, and I'm pretty sure it's new. I've not seen it before, and I've been on Craftsy quite a bit, and this was right before Christmas was the first time I kind of saw it advertised. So maybe it's not new, maybe it is, I don't know, but it was really, really reasonable. A year subscription I think is like $120, or you can do it monthly and it's like $14.95. Which when you consider their classes are usually around like $20 to get the class, you're basically, you know, paying less for all of the classes in 1 month than you are. Anyway, you can do a free trial. I think they give you like a week's free trial to go on and see if it's something that is worth your while. I did the free trial. I decided I liked it. There were more than enough classes in knitting and dyeing yarn and spinning, drawing classes that Brooklyn would enjoy.
Hey, that's what I was daydreaming about.
You were! Surprise! There's drawing classes that I think Brooklyn would enjoy. There's photography stuff that I think I would enjoy. There was definitely embroidery stuff that I've been learning when I was doing that new project I just showed you. I got some big tips from watching the embroidery classes. Anyway, so I bought the year subscription, kind of with my Christmas money. I was like, oh, you know, might as well. And it really has been, I've really enjoyed it because I can go in and I can just like watch one quick little, I don't have to watch an entire class at once. I can go in and watch just a quick snippet. Like when I was, trying to decide what to do with the cup. I didn't like it just bare. And so I went in to look for fill stitches because I knew I didn't want to like completely clutter it in with satin stitch. But that's where I learned how to do the seed stitch that I did, the little kind of confetti looking stitch. So it was super helpful already. I've watched, I don't know, 5 or 6 different like classes. And I really like it. So I would suggest going on to Craftsy, giving that a try, and see what you think. I thought it was kind of cool. It's kind of like Netflix for crafting, and then you don't have to search YouTube all the time when you want to learn something new. So that's my recommendation. Anything else that you want to add?
I would like to try that Craftsy thing.
She wants to go so she can look at a drawing class. She wants to go learn something. I will let her do that. So we're gonna let you go, and we will see you next week.
And next week is my birthday, it's Tuesday.
And she'll be a year older next week when you see us again. She'll be 11 and not 10.
Yep.
So this is not only our first podcast of 2018, it's her last podcast being 10 years old.
Yep.
All right, well, we will see you again very soon. Have fun crafting in the meantime.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.